Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief Show. I am your host, Jenny. Today, we're diving into some exciting and important stories from around Asia and Hong Kong. First up, did you know that Asia is stepping up its game with artificial intelligence? With natural disasters like tsunamis, typhoons, and floods on the rise, experts are calling for AI to help with early warnings and response efforts. While AI could save billions globally, there's a catch: it consumes a lot of energy, which could impact climate change. Countries like Singapore are leading the way with smart flood defenses, and regional cooperation is more crucial than ever. Next, in the financial world, Hong Kong stocks are experiencing their first weekly decline in nearly a month. Despite a tiny rise on Friday, concerns over China's economic health and corporate earnings have investors feeling cautious. Major companies like Sinopec and PetroChina are predicting sharp profit drops, and sluggish economic data is adding to the worries. Meanwhile, markets across Asia-Pacific are showing mixed results, with some countries slipping into the red. It's a reminder that even in a vibrant market, caution is key. Finally, a quieter but meaningful change is happening at Hong Kong Airport. To reduce noise pollution for residents in Tuen Mun, late-night flights from the south runway will be cut after 2 a.m. starting August 7. This move aims to ease insomnia and distress caused by aircraft noise, especially for vulnerable groups like the elderly and mental health patients. It's a step towards balancing airport expansion with community well-being. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights. The South China Morning Post highlights Asia's increasing vulnerability to natural disasters, emphasizing the urgent need for technological innovation, especially artificial intelligence, AI, to bolster disaster preparedness and response. Recent events, such as the tsunami warning off Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula and Typhoon Wifa impacting Southeast Asia, underscore the region's exposure to extreme weather phenomena fueled by climate change. Experts suggest that AI-powered early warning systems could significantly cut disaster-related costs, up to $70 billion annually, and improve response times, ultimately saving lives and infrastructure. However, deploying such technology faces hurdles, including energy demands for data centers, which are projected to grow substantially in Asia-Pacific, and the challenge of balancing technological adoption with environmental sustainability. Countries like Singapore are leading the way by investing heavily in AI-driven flood defenses, setting an example for others in the region to follow, while also focusing on workforce training to ensure job security amid digital transformation. Meanwhile, the South China Morning Post reports on the Hong Kong stock market's recent downturn, marking its first weekly decline in nearly a month amid concerns over China's economic resilience and corporate earnings. Despite a slight weekly gain of 0.2% in the Hang Seng Index, the broader market sentiment has soured due to disappointing economic data, such as the unexpected contraction in manufacturing and declining profits from major firms like Sinopec and HSBC. The sluggish response from policymakers, following a Politburo meeting that reaffirmed existing policies without new stimulus measures, has further dampened investor confidence. Across the Asia-Pacific, markets like Japan, South Korea, and Australia experienced declines or mixed results, reflecting broader anxieties about growth prospects in the region and the lingering impact of economic uncertainties on investor sentiment. The South China Morning Post also features a vibrant fashion story, showcasing Fendi's latest silhouettes and Boucheron's jewelry collection. Despite their muted tones, the Fendi designs, celebrating the house's centennial, promise to make a statement in any setting, especially when paired with the dazzling pieces from Boucheron's Cotter collection. The photo shoot captures the elegance and sophistication of these iconic brands, with detailed styling and expert craftsmanship emphasizing how fashion can be both subtle and striking. This visual celebration underscores the enduring allure of luxury fashion, blending timeless design with contemporary flair, and highlights the artistry that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. South China Morning Post reports that Hong Kong's airport is taking decisive steps to address noise pollution caused by late-night flights. Residents in Tuen Mun, particularly in Shu Lam and So Kung Wat neighborhoods, have been suffering from sleep disturbances due to cargo aircraft passing overhead during the early hours. In response, the airport authority announced that starting August 7, the South Runway, traditionally busy with cargo operations late at night, will cease operations at 2 a.m., with alternative runways taking over until 7 a.m. This measure aims to mitigate the noise impact, especially over densely populated areas, by rerouting arriving flights over water and directing departing aircraft along less intrusive paths. Local residents, including elderly individuals and those with mental health concerns, have voiced their frustrations, describing how the noise has worsened since the northern runway's launch at the end of 2022, with noise levels reaching up to 100 decibels. Community members like Grace Lee, a resident of Palatial Coast, have shared their struggles with insomnia and the difficulty of sleeping with windows open, highlighting the urgent need for noise reduction measures to improve quality of life. Meanwhile, in Australia, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation details that Star Entertainment has failed to meet the deadline for offloading its stake in the Queen's Wharf project in Brisbane. Despite initial plans to acquire full control of the casino and hotel development, Star's negotiations with joint venture partners Chow Tai Fook Enterprises and Far East Consortium International Limited have fallen through, leading to the termination of their heads of agreement. As a result, Star will retain its 50% stake and face financial obligations, including paying approximately $41 million to its partners, $10 million by August 6 and an additional $31 million by September 5, unless further arrangements are made. The fallout from this failed deal also entails future financial commitments, with Star potentially owing around $200 million in contributions to the DBC venture and additional equity injections needed for refinancing. The company remains engaged with its partners, but the missed deadline signifies significant financial and strategic repercussions, including the possible transfer of interest in the Tower Hotel at Gold Coast if payments are not fulfilled. Lastly, South China Morning Post reports that Hong Kong's new stablecoin regulation, which took effect on Friday, is set to shape the city's future as a leading digital asset hub. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority's strict licensing regime restricts stablecoin issuance to a select few, emphasizing robust business plans, financial stability, and risk management to prevent incidents like the collapse of FTX. The HKMA's cautious approach means that only a handful of licenses will be granted initially, with the first batch expected early next year. This prudent stance aims to attract credible, sustainable projects that can demonstrate viable use cases, such as cross-border trade and e-commerce payments, while ensuring the integrity of Hong Kong's financial system. Major players like Ant Group, Standard Chartered, and local Web3 firms are preparing to apply, focusing on concrete applications rather than speculative ventures. The new regime underscores Hong Kong's strategic aim to maintain its position as a trustworthy financial center, leveraging its unique position as a bridge between mainland China and global markets, and ensuring the credibility of its digital currency ecosystem amid global regulatory developments. The South China Morning Post vividly recounts the harrowing experience of a University of Hong Kong law student who uncovered more than 700 AI-generated deepfake pornographic images on her male classmate's computer, sparking urgent questions about Hong Kong's legal gaps. The case revealed the city's lack of specific laws addressing the non-consensual creation and possession of intimate images generated by AI, leaving victims feeling betrayed and helpless. Despite HKU issuing warnings and authorities launching investigations, legal experts emphasized that existing laws, such as those governing computer misuse, privacy, and copyright, are insufficient to adequately protect victims or deter perpetrators. The incident also highlighted the proliferation of AI tools capable of creating convincing fake images and audio, with some providers claiming their software operates within legal boundaries, even as investigations expose potential misuse and loopholes. Experts argue that Hong Kong needs new legislation to address the unique challenges posed by AI, balancing the protection of personal dignity with the need to foster technological innovation, and warning against overregulation that could stifle progress. The South China Morning Post further explores Hong Kong's emerging role as a mediation hub for wealthy mainland families seeking dispute resolution outside of traditional courts, and coolly notes a rising demand for confidential family mediation, driven by the desire to avoid public exposure of personal and financial matters. High-profile cases, like the inheritance dispute involving China's Waha Group, exemplify the complex succession issues faced by affluent families unfamiliar with legal processes. Mediation offers a private, flexible, and less contentious alternative, allowing families to negotiate matters such as asset sales and corporate governance while maintaining harmony. Experts highlight that mediation's voluntary nature often results in higher compliance and better long-term relationships, especially when compared to litigation's adversarial approach. As Hong Kong positions itself as an international mediation center, this trend underscores the city's strategic advantage in serving as a neutral ground for resolving elite family disputes amidst the broader context of wealth transfer and inheritance challenges in Asia. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports on the return of ancient Buddhist relics, the Piparwa gems, after a century-long journey marred by colonial acquisition and legal disputes. Originally discovered in northern India and believed to contain relics of the Buddha, these 2,000-year-old jewels were auctioned in Hong Kong in 2023, prompting India to threaten legal action under international and national laws. Negotiations led to the gems' repatriation, with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi praising the event as a symbol of India's cultural heritage. However, the process raises ethical questions about colonial legacies, as experts like SOAS's Ashley Thompson critique whether such transactions, initially seized and distributed through colonial channels, are truly just, or if they perpetuate historical injustices. Sotheby's and the Indian government framed the return as a successful partnership, yet scholars call for new models of shared custodianship that transcend national ownership, emphasizing the importance of equitable and collaborative approaches to heritage preservation in a post-colonial world. South China Morning Post vividly portrays Sally Ye's meteoric rise from her humble beginnings in Taipei and Canada to becoming a luminous icon of Hong Kong's entertainment scene in the 1980s and 90s. Her journey is marked by unwavering dedication, exemplified by her meticulous phonetic transcription of Cantonese lyrics to master pronunciation despite her non-native background. Her debut hit 10 Past Midnight skyrocketed her to fame, paving the way for her to dominate the charts and earn numerous awards, including her legendary status among the Four Heavenly Queens. Ye's soulful voice and magnetic screen presence made her a beloved figure, often portraying strong, independent women in iconic films, and her personal life, including her passionate romance with George Lam, added to her allure. Even after stepping back from the limelight to focus on her family, her enduring love for music was evident when she returned to perform in 2022, reaffirming her legendary status and her contentment with a career rooted in honesty and quality. The Sydney Morning Herald vividly captures the dramatic shift in the Australian racing industry as Sheikh Mohammed's Godolphin disperses nearly 200 horses across 9 public trainers, signaling a move away from private stables to a more transparent, public training model. This unprecedented dispersal, valued at over $40 million, marks one of the most significant upheavals in Australian racing history, reflecting a broader industry trend towards greater accountability and oversight. Industry insiders highlight the strategic importance of this move, with seasoned trainers like Chris Waller and Cyrone Marr preparing the horses for upcoming major races, including the Melbourne Cup. The decision to shift from a private to a public model is driven by the desire for transparency, better oversight, and value for money, amid concerns about the previous model's lack of effective monitoring and the potential for conflicts of interest. As the industry watches closely, this bold experiment could reshape Australian racing, echoing Britain's recent efforts to renationalise its own privatised system for greater efficiency and public benefit. The Sydney Morning Herald also vividly details the seismic changes at Godolphin's Australian operations, where Sheikh Mohammed's racing empire has transitioned from a private, exclusive setup to a broad, public training approach. This strategic pivot involves dispersing nearly 200 high-value horses to top-tier trainers such as Chris Waller, Ciaran Maher, and Lindsay Park, marking one of the largest dispersals of racing stock in Australian history. This move aims to foster greater competition and transparency while maintaining the quality of their elite horses, like the Group 1 winning Tom Kitten. Industry experts see this as a progressive step, reflecting a broader shift in the global racing landscape, as the once private powerhouse embraces a more open and diversified model. The dispersal not only signifies a new chapter for Godolphin's operations but also underscores the evolving nature of the racing industry, where strategic flexibility and transparency are increasingly valued over traditional exclusivity. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, Sheikh Mohammed has orchestrated a monumental shift in Australia's thoroughbred racing scene by dispatching a staggering $40 million worth of horses across the country. This move marks a historic departure from the traditional private training model, as Godolphin, the renowned racing conglomerate, transitions to a public training approach for the first time in its Australian operations. The dispersal involved nearly 200 horses, now spread among 9 prominent public trainers such as Chris Waller, Ciaran Maher, and Lindsay Park, signaling a strategic realignment aimed at maximizing flexibility and competitive edge. Notably, the legendary horses like Tom Kitten and Zardozi have been reassigned, with some already trialing under their new trainers, fueling anticipation for the upcoming racing season. Freedman trainers Sam and Anthony expressed optimism about this bold move, emphasizing its potential to diversify their racing portfolio and enhance their chances on the track, while Godolphin's leadership highlighted the increased agility and future prospects of this new model. Nikkei Asia reports that Panama's government is contemplating a significant overhaul of its port operations amid ongoing legal disputes over a crucial contract with CK Hutchison. The Hong Kong-based company holds a 90% stake in Panama Ports Company, which manages the strategic Balboa and Cristobal ports at both ends of the Panama Canal. Recent lawsuits challenge the legality of the 2021 contract renewal, citing procedural irregularities and insufficient revenue contributions to Panama, issues that could lead to the contract's nullification. Panama's President José Raúl Mulino has indicated that, depending on court rulings, the government might seek to transfer port operations to state-run entities or public-private partnerships, reflecting a broader strategy to regain control over vital infrastructure amid geopolitical tensions. This legal and political uncertainty complicates a broader U.S.-led effort, involving BlackRock, to acquire a stake in CK Hutchison's global ports, a deal fraught with U.S.-China trade tensions and national security concerns, further emphasizing Panama's delicate balancing act in its maritime and economic policies. South China Morning Post details a tragic incident in Hong Kong's Mong Kok district, where a family of 4 was rescued from a devastating fire in Kin Wong Mansion late Thursday night. Firefighters responded swiftly after reports of the blaze, discovering 3 family members, an elderly man, a woman in her 70s, and a young boy, unconscious inside the old residential building. A woman in her 40s was also rescued, conscious but shaken. The fire, believed to have been caused by an air conditioning unit, resulted in the tragic death of 2 cats found in the flat. The rescue efforts were successful, with all 4 family members hospitalized for treatment. The incident underscores the dangers posed by aging infrastructure and electrical appliances in densely populated Hong Kong neighborhoods, prompting renewed calls for fire safety inspections and community awareness to prevent future tragedies. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.